We are back. Maybe. Let me know if audio is coming through on this. We're on the iPad now. We're not on the laptop anymore. And still the same microphones. So I want to check to make sure it's the laptop or Google having problems or YouTube having problems, not the microphones. So shoot me a message. Let me know if the mics are working. You can message me if you've got me there. Of course, this frustration and all of this, I had to reload. All right, so we've got sound. Cool. Thank you, Liz. I had to reload because I hammered down the rest. I have to be careful. I'm almost out. Speaking of Rockstar, my buddy David reminded me Pineapple Rockstar is actually really good. I really like it. So we'll try this whole thing again. I'll go delete those other two. I apologize, you guys. I have no clue what's going on with YouTube and Chrome and whatever else is going on there, but I'll try and get it fixed. The laptop is a little more powerful and I can see your messages full time and all of that stuff. So I'll try and get that prepared. I have no clue. Worked fine this afternoon for my personal stream, and now it just didn't go. So we'll use the iPad for now if you guys are saying this works. The downside with the iPad is once the stream ends, YouTube is kind enough to mark it as private. So I have to go back in on a desktop machine and mark it as public. And I also have to add a thumbnail. It won't add a thumbnail for me, which sucks. I have no clue why they do that. I'm guessing it's a safety, security thing. They're trying to be our parents, and some of us are appreciative, but most of us are not. So I apologize for all that. So I'll go through all of this again, the whole 10 minutes that got screwed before, and I apologize. It's a technical issue, and everything works until I go live. Then it stops working. So I don't know what the deal is. So I'm going to bring you guys a little closer. This is the PDC, the Power Distribution Center, that we're putting in the trunk of the limo. I am putting in the trunk of the limo. Of course, now I get hiccups, right? So I need to stop that. I need to stop saying we. This is not a group effort. This is a me effort. It is just me. I mean, if you guys want, you can look around and see how many people aren't here. So you guys help me with that and make that mental switch. So I'm doing a PDC. You guys saw the old one, that big plywood sheet with all the random relays and the other remote controllers and fuses and all this other shit on there. That one's gone. Actually went in the trash, and the trash truck took it away, and hopefully they burn it. Whatever. So we have a new PDC. Now, the reason we have a PDC in the trunk is because the car is 26 feet long. You're just counting the mosquitoes and lizards. Oh, yeah, as the other people here. Yeah, and the huntsman spiders that are like, they're the size of, if you're wondering what a huntsman spider looks like size-wise, you can see the pictures online. They're about the size of a junior bacon cheeseburger. They're big. They're fast as hell, too. So don't be fooled. But they're not really interesting to you. They're just being defensive if they run away. Most of the time they'll run away. They want bugs. They want roaches. They want ants. They want all the bugs running around, millipedes, all that stuff. That's what they want. So huntsman, go ahead. And then the good part is the lizards eat the huntsmen. So it's a nice little ecosystem here. And the lizards are great. Lizards always run away from me. Yeah, they can see themselves out. Yeah, I'm with you. Whenever I see the spiders or any kind of bugs in here, I'll show you guys what I have. I actually have a tool for that. This is a card I got from Adventure Classic Cars, and it says, please do not touch. And oh, that's nice that it's backwards. Hopefully the entire video is reversed. That'd be great. And this is the little scooper to send everybody back outside. So, or let them crawl on there and then just toss them in a bush. A lot less shit to clean up. Yes, you can stomp on them and kill them. Guess what? That means you got to clean them up. Guess who gets to clean them up? 80% of owning a shop is cleaning. So, I mean, there's the 20, the 19% that's really fun, the 1% that sucks. Yeah, most of the time you're cleaning. So I'll go through the PDC with you guys. The reason we have a PDC in the trunk is because we have 26 feet of distance. We're going to have 4 batteries in this car. You know what, when I say I'm including you guys in this. That's where it's coming from. It's not from people not being here or the core group dissolving a couple of years ago or anything like that. I'm including you guys in this. That's where it comes from. I just figured that out. So if I say we, it's because I'm including you guys, not because there's other people here. So there's going to be 4 batteries in this car, 1 at each corner. And currently we just have the 2 batteries, 1 at the front, 1 at the back. But we're going to eventually have 4, so we're planning ahead with this PDC. The PDC will run a lot of different stuff in the car. The batteries up front, every battery is designated. We have engine, we have audio video, we have hot tub, and then we have air ride. So every battery is they have their own job. Not every battery is going to have a PDC. Like the air ride system is going to be on that back corner. It's going to have its own battery, and that's it. There's no reason for a power distribution center. It basically runs right to the battery. Battery gets charged. That's it. The hot tub is going to have an inverter on it, but we'll also have this on it. So it'll be doing kind of double duty, but this is kind of a one-off. And they're not usually going to be running at the same time. So that's a good thing. The battery up front for the engine runs all the engine controls and stuff. And then all the audio, video, and lights will run off that other battery. And I don't really need it. They'll have their own power distribution center for the lights and audio and stuff. The car already has its own. This is going to be specifically for the extra stuff we're doing in the trunk. So I'll show you what all of this stuff is. First off, yes, this is a cutting board. It is $8. And here's why I'm using it. It's $8. It's super cheap. It's very durable. It's going to last the life of the ownership of the car. It's totally waterproof. It's white. It matches the car. That's always crucial. And it's very easy to work with. I can drill into this and things are going to grab and they're going to stay put. I don't have to worry about, something shorting out on here because it's non-conductive. It's actually a very good, convenient way to mount stuff. It's 14 by 11. You can get bigger cutting boards, obviously, if you need a bigger PDC. Also, I can add on to this. I can add another, 6 by 10 on the other side if I need to add stuff to it. But for now, this one's going to work great. Or I can even get a whole new one, put all this stuff on there, plus the new one, and just have a larger cutting board. It's easy. And I would already have a template, right? So speaking of template, what we'll do with this when I'm done is this will get covered in, that paper that Amazon uses for packing material, the crumbly brown paper. This will get covered in that. And then we'll do a 1-inch grid. And then all of this stuff will get laid out. So it'll all be at right angles and level. But for now, we just kind of have it laid where we sort of want it. Also with room for mounting holes, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll lay that grid on. We'll mark everything. We'll drill the holes, the pilot holes for all this stuff. And then that's the other good part. You just have to drill pilot holes. And then the heat from the screw going in there will actually kind of glue the screw to the cutting board. So it's actually a really good thing. So we'll do a little grid here, drill everything, pull the paper off, and then mount everything. So I'll show you guys all the components that are on the PDC. I'll get you a little closer here and see if I can tilt you down a little. Maybe. Okay, that's a little too close. All right, there we are. Okay. And you can see the battery maintainer over here for the rear battery. So we'll go from this side over. These are our power terminals. These are our bus terminals. This is our positive, obviously. And you can see we have smaller screw terminals and then larger lugs up here. These are not totally waterproof, but that's okay because all the connectors will be. And they're protected from outside sources. This cover comes off. And these guys are about 20 bucks for the pair, and they're going to last the life of the car. So our positive is going to go up top, and our ground is going to go at the bottom. Our positive is actually going to only have a couple of leads coming off of it to begin with. We'll have one going to the main relay box, which is this guy. You guys remember this guy? I got him. He's like 40 bucks on Amazon. He's not terribly expensive, but he replaced most of that plywood, piece of plywood. I don't even know what to call it. Plywood plate. We have our power in. We have our ground. We have 6 fuses here. We have 6 relays, 4 open. 2 of them are latching. And then all of our lugs down here. This is a super, super simple setup. And it's going to work great because we don't have a ton of electronics in the trunk, but we have room for expansion, which is awesome. And the other cool part is this one, if you blow a fuse, like when everything's working correctly, these guys will have little tiny green LEDs underneath them. When you blow a fuse, it'll have a red LED next to it. Or if a relay fails, it'll have a red LED next to it. It makes it very, very easy to find out what's wrong back here. And this obviously has a cover on it. I don't have the cover on it right now because I'm showing you guys. So this guy will sit right here. We'll have power coming off, full-time power, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Full-time power coming here, which will go to this, which will power all the fuses and relays here, all these terminals out. We will also have one full-time power going to our license plate relays, and we'll have a ground going also over there. This is our ground terminal. Is basically the exact same thing as the red, just in black. I would love to put these on opposite sides, but they're going to have to go kind of side by side for now. These are our relays for our license plate, and we have these separate because you guys watched the other video on why we need separate relays. This one won't work because we can't customize it. This one will be all customized on the bottom. Speaking of customized, we have our own fuse. Now this is a cool ATC fuse holder. I don't know if you guys have seen these before. This is a vertical. So he opens, you just unclip him. He's water resistant, not waterproof, just water resistant. We're not going Ocean Gate with this. And then our ATC fuse goes in there. This is a 10 gauge wire. So we can put probably 40 amps in there. So if you're wondering about gauge and amps, an easy way the way that I remembered it, 14 gauge equals 15 amps. So that's kind of an easy way. And then you can go up and down the scale from there. So if you go to 28 gauge, that's basically 1 amp. You go to aught gauge, you know, that's 200 amps or 100, just say 100 amps. So that's a good way to do it. 14 gauge is 15 amps. That's kind of a simple way to do it. These guys, you can put in kind of any, this one will do a 40 gauge or a 40 amp fuse if I really want it, but I'm probably just going to run a 10 amp. That's all I really need to run for the license plate going up and down. If I need to adjust, I have a thick enough wire that I can adjust. This guy screws in versus, I'll show you the other type of ATC mini relays. These guys, oh, of course they're all glued together, right? All right. So this is how these guys come. They come shipped like this. They're shipped like a hoop, and I got a pack of these. So these are 2 different kinds. Obviously, this is a thinner gauge wire. This is a 14. I'd have to look, but I think this is a 14 gauge. And so you have your 2 different types. Same fuses go in both, just a different way to attach them. So I wanted this to be a pull down because he's going to be mounted vertically on a wall. If I try to put this guy up on the wall, he's just going to fall over. So this guy, the cap comes off, the fuse goes in. Again, he's water resistant, not waterproof. And these work really, really great. And we're going to use one of these in the trunk. I'm going to show you guys one of the fun things in the trunk. I have a different set that's, I think they're 10 gauge. They might be 12 gauge. And we're going to use that in the trunk. We're going to replace an old fuse. So this is our controller for the door poppers. And we also have options for other stuff in here. We can put in control of the license plate. We can put in control for a lot of other stuff. We have, I think, 5 other inputs available. No, we have a total of 8. I think it's a total of 8. And we're using 2, so we have 6 more left out of this that we can use. And that's fine. We don't really need that. This will all get wrapped and wire loomed and then tucked behind through the handle. So we won't see most of this stuff. And then obviously we have our relays. This stuff was all going to look a lot cooler when it's wired up and working correctly and mounted in the car. So that's our basic power distribution center in the back of the car. You can do your own depending on your own needs. Like you probably won't have the need for 2 separate latching relays to raise and lower your license plate. So you might not need that. And now you have room for something different here. You know, LED light bar controller or relays for that or whatever. You can actually, we'll probably use these for the LEDs. So you can use this space however you want, but definitely lay it out beforehand so you can see how much room is left, right? And, you know, where water's going to go, where hands are going to touch. Now, the other, whoa, hey. The other cool part about using, oh, Jesus. That's why the iPad's so hard. The other cool part about using the cutting board is I do have this handle. Now, I'm not going to hold anything. I'm not going to hold on to the car and pull it back by that. But I can use it to route wires. I can use it to bungee stuff too. If I have, you know, whatever, I can't even think about a set of jumper cables or something, I can bungee it to that and they won't slide around in the back of the car. I have an attachment point, which is pretty important in the trunk when you have stuff flying around. There won't be much room in this trunk, but I still don't want stuff flying around. So this is a nice attachment point. All right, I'm going to move this. I'm going to bring in the next fun part. Oh, by the way, we're talking about ATCs. These are ATC fuses. So, oh my God, hang on. Hang on a second. I just need to back it up, Terry. Sorry. And still not far enough away. The cameras on Apple stuff suck. So, these are ATC fuses. This is from Everything Automotive. Remind me to cut this tab off. Now you don't have to remind me to cut the tab off. So they come in a pack like this, and it's a ton of ATC fuses. These are ATC minis. Full-size ATCs are slightly larger. So I'll show you what these guys look like without dumping 50 of them all over the ground. We'll just use it's a 30 amp ATC. There you go. That's what he looks like. And they'll say their name or their designation on there. It's nice when they print it on there, but these are shined in the light correctly. And you'll see that it's a 30 amp. They are color coded, and that is a standard. So if you see another green fuse, it's going to be 30. If you see another red fuse, it's going to be 10, etc. So That's kind of the color code for all ATCs. This pack will probably last you 10 years, depending on how much stuff you blow up. These packs are cheap. They're $5-10 on Amazon. They're all basically the same. It's not a quality control thing. All these fuses are standards. If the company doesn't build a good fuse, they won't be in business more than a week or two. So if the company's making these, they're probably pretty good. So set these aside. And I'm going to bring you guys over to the trunk real quick and show you something cool that I found. And then we'll come back over here and I'll show you the project that's going to rest overnight. So let's go over to the trunk and hopefully we can get close enough down here. Oh yeah, I think. All right. Try not to blind you guys. So this is our trunk. You know what? Here's a better way to do this, I think. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is our trunk soft close mechanism. This is the motor. And then the relay controller is actually not in. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this is the motor that when your trunk latch comes down on this, it then goes very slowly and pulls the trunk all the way flush with the car. Now, given that this is a 1980 vehicle, that is super crazy tech for the time. That's amazing. It's hard to find this on, most modern cars don't have it. You have to go to like BMW, Audi, and get in some of their luxury brands before you get anything like a soft close trunk. And this is in 1980. This motor actually says 1979 on it. So this is part of the soft close mechanism. Now, what I figured out, and I was doing stuff in here, I'm like, wait a second. The soft close works even when this battery is unplugged. That means the soft close is wired to the battery up front. It's unswitched power. Awesome. Then I got hiccups. So I'm sorry, you guys. That means there's power here. So I took the cover off, and that was kind of a mistake. Because there are 3 screws that hold the cover on. There's 2 on the top. The cover goes like, how do you go in here? Like this. Cover goes like this. And there's 3 screws. There's 1, 2, and then a third one here. 1, 2, 3. And the screws came out and the cover came off, and that's great. Unfortunately, this screw broke. This is plastic. This is actually, I believe this is Lexan or polycarbonate. It's super, super cheapo clear plastic. I didn't realize this. And then last night when I had the trunk closed, it was going bzzz, 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 bzzz. It kept trying to close the trunk because the latching mechanism had actually shifted. And these little tabs right here are the flicker for the on-off switch for the trunk close. When it's all the way down, it'll turn it off. Or sorry, it'll push down, it'll turn it off. When it's open, it'll bring this tab up and it'll open the switch. So that got broken off. And then this, where this little screw goes, the tab for that was previously broken. So this guy was kind of hanging in there by a thread. And this is just an age issue. This is one of those things that comes from, just being old. But I realized that with this is the guy that plugs in right there to the relay. This guy has full-time power, and I found full-time power. Now, he's still plugged in, so I should probably be pretty careful here. But here's a different type of fuse, and I want to show this one to you guys. This is called a bus fuse. Well, this is what I call them. I call them bus fuses. I don't know what their actual name is. I'm going to turn this so you can see. They're different thicknesses. Some are really skinny wires. Some are tabs like this. Hey, this light is failing quickly. So let me grab another light that I don't have over here. All right, hang on. Everything works until I talk to you guys, and then it just bombs out. I don't understand. Like if I'm in here by myself in the shop, everything works. I fire this up, and it all goes to hell very quickly. So let's see if we can read. God, I can't even read that. There's some kind of markings on here. God, they're so tiny. Anyway, these fuses will have markings on them as to what their rating is. And these are usually in a connector like this. It's a screw back. It looks similar to, I had one here. Hang on. No. I did have a threaded one. I don't know where he went. It's got to be in here. Because he was one that I was not using. Here he is. So, looks like this. And this end unscrews. I'll try and keep it centered for you guys. And again, we have our tab on this side. We have our bus fuse in here. This guy you can see is really thin. He's just a super skinny wire in there. So he's probably 2 amps. I don't know if I can read this one. Oh no, sorry. This is 30 amps, 250 volts. So this is a 30 amp guy. So this guy is also probably a 30 amp guy, maybe a little bit more. And these guys just, this one happens to screw together. The other one just kind of clamps together. So these are bus fuses, and these are handy to have a small pack. You can get them at Napa for like, I don't know, 10 bucks. You can get a variety pack. Again, that'll probably last you 10 years. These have been phased out by ATC and ATC Mini. So I'm actually going to put this with the electrical stuff. So that's the good part. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to replace this ancient setup with a really nice ATC fuse, and we're going to put it underneath here so it's protected when it's plugged in. It's not, this is hanging out even when the cover's on. So we're going to put one up here where it's going to be protected from the elements, and it'll be protected when the cover's on. So this guy is not even close to water resistant. Not even close. So we're dealing with a car with a ton of water. We definitely want water resistant. So that's the fun one in the trunk. Now, this whole mess with this switch. Oh God. I didn't realize this today until I had this thing apart. And I'll bring you guys back over here. This will be the last section for tonight just because it's such a mess. So let me set you over there. And I'm just going to move over here. By the way, that's what this guy is for. We're going to use him as our fuse for replacing that bus fuse in the back. He'll mount right in there. And then he'll be super easy to replace. You know, the cover can come off and we can replace him. Super quick, super easy. He can still go in line with all those wires. This guy's going to be great. I'm just going to put him over here. So here comes our next fun part, and we're going to do some close-ups here because this is a mess. This is such a mess. So I'm going to bring you guys here. So this is the oh my God. I don't want to stare at the ceiling, but I don't want to slide down for you guys. So I try and tilt it without it going too far, but it also won't zoom out. So this is the latching mechanism for the trunk. Now what happens is the relay engages once this switch goes down, and then the motor will pull that thing down until this switch, of course. So this goes down when you put the trunk down, and then the motor will go down until the tab hits this switch and sends him to the down position, and that turns off power back here. Then when you unlock the trunk, it brings it back up here, and this pops a little bit, and now you have an open circuit, and it'll automatically raise back up. It'll go bzzz very slowly. It does the same speed up and down. It's not a very fast issue. But this is part of the soft close mechanism. These, of course, are extinct. There's no way you're going to find one of these unless you go to a junkyard. They do have newer versions, but they are 5-pin. They are not 3-pin like this. So, or they're 5-pin down here and not 2-pin like this. These are basically extinct. So I have to save this one. Here is one of the pieces that broke off. This is the, whoops, do I have them on backwards? Yeah, okay. So he has to get, I gotta clean these up anyway. He has to get glued back on right there. And of course it's black on black in the shadows. I apologize. This little tab has to go right back there. Is that better? Nope. So anyway, let me see if I can get him to rest there. There you go. He's got to look like that. And that's that screw that had broken off. Now this had broken off obviously a long time ago, and he was being held in place by the cover. So last night when I had the cover off, he did one round, and now this switch flipped it up and moved him out of place. Now this switch kept trying to close the trunk bzz, bzz, because it was never down. And I was out here doing other stuff on the car, and I'm like, why does the trunk keep trying to close? And why isn't the trunk closed? It should be fully closed. And it took me a while to find this out. Second part, and this one's going to be even more fun. This is one of the mounting screws that I told you, that clear plexiglass. So this has to get glued back on there as well. Now, the good part about it is I have the JB Weld, the plastic bonder. Of course, it's backwards, right? So plastic bonder is great. It actually works really well. My only fear is this stuff is so ancient. It's 45 years old, maybe 46 years old. It might actually not grip onto this stuff. So if that's the case, we're going to have to do something different. And we might have to do some plastic welding, which you do with electricity. It's kind of like a solder gun, but you stitch, it's basically stitching plastic together. but it's very fine, and I'd have to pull that motor out and all of that. So this is one of those when you have a super rare car, not a rare, but a super old car with parts that are very rare. This is the part that sucks. You are trying to upgrade things and make things better, and something like this breaks. There's no way to just, I can't go to Napa, a new one, or go to Amazon and order one. It just simply doesn't exist anymore. And that's the hardest part about working on this entire car. You're trying to be careful with stuff, but you want really good stuff in there. So, you want it to be robust and work all the time. That's the difference between B team and A team. B team originally built the car, except for the guys who did the hot tub. That's A team stuff. Well, except the welding. The guys who did the gel coat and fiberglass, A team. Everything else, B team on here. Some shit is C team. So the trying to get it where it rolls 100 feet is easy. Trying to get it to where it rolls 100,000 miles is a lot harder. So that's been the issue with this, and that's why it's taken years to do all this stuff, is because I have to undo everything that was done before and then redo it the correct way. And that takes a lot longer than just starting with a bare chassis with a roof and seats and all the wiring and stuff. There's a ton of wiring I would have left in this car. They just cut it out. They literally, if you go look underneath that dash, it looks like they took a Sawzall, and then when the engine turned off, they're like, stop, hook that one back up. And then they kept going again. And it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So trying to undo that and trying to work with that or undo it makes it so difficult. But I haven't turned down a challenge yet. So I'm going to keep going on this, and this is going to be a fantastic, fun car when it's all done. It's going to take me a while because this stuff takes a while. This is 24 hours before I can even mount it. And then also parts. Like, I was supposed to have the tabs for those relays because I was going to use the other tabs, but they're not locking. They don't have the latch in them. What's he say? They LKQ. Yeah, they did LKQ it. That's a good reference. God, LKQ could screw up a wet dream, couldn't they? So this stuff takes time. I thought I had the right tabs, the locking tabs for the relays, but I didn't. So I had to order locking tabs because no one local has them. I always try and check local. Maybe the Ace Hardware or someplace has them. They don't. I do one lap through town. If nobody has it, then I got to order. So I try to stay local, but it's really hard. It's really hard. And if I do find it local, it's $50. If I go on Amazon, it's $8. So, I don't want to, but I kind of have to in order to, otherwise this would be a $150,000 car. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. So we'll get this stuff set up tonight. We'll get the grid laid out on the PDC, and then with any good fortune, we're wiring up the PDC. We're mounting all the stuff, wiring up the relays for the PDC tomorrow, and getting this thing back in the trunk. We'll have the new fuse for the soft close, which will be great. And then we'll basically be done in the trunk of the car, except for the the other battery and the water tanks. So then we'll be done in the trunk. We won't really have to mess with the trunk anymore. And I think that's about it. Hopefully you guys have learned something or got inspired, whatever. If there's something specific you want to see, please let me know. I'll try and get you in detail. Like I said, I apologize for the technical issues tonight. I have no clue what's going on with the laptop. I, of course, got to go through that in the morning. But if there's something you guys want to see, whether it's specific to electronics or engine or transmission or brakes or whatever, definitely shoot me a note. I'm happy to help out. I'm happy to go into detail and describe this. Like I said, I don't get paid a dime for this. I'm not making any money off YouTube. They don't send me any kind of checks. I don't have any sponsorships, nothing. I pay for all my own burgers at Burgatory. So this is I paid for this shirt. Um, this is me giving back to you, you know, and hopefully my biggest hope is that I inspire someone, you know, young or old or whoever, who's terrified of working on their vehicle that they're going to break it. Like if I do new brake lines, I won't be able to stop my car again. I want that person to get over that fear and understand how simple a simple braking system. I'm not talking F1 cars. I'm talking a simple passenger car system, you know, a touring car system. How easy that can be to do that and save yourself a couple of $100 by doing brakes and pads yourself. You know, rotors and pads are not that hard to do if you know how to work a jack, if you know how to work a socket wrench, and if you understand basic bleeding of fluid systems, which I'm happy to go through, and I'm happy to show you that and all the different ways you can do that. But I don't want that person to be afraid. And I love hearing, you know, people come back to me and they're like, "Hey Kev, I was terrified to do the pads on my car, but you showed me how easy it was. I pulled off the wheels, pulled the caliper back, popped in the new pads, lubed everything up, put it back together. My car is so much better now. I've gotten a couple on, I got one on brake pads, and I got one on, I don't remember what else, but I've received emails from you guys saying, hey, thanks for doing that. Actually, one was a message, one was an email. Thanks. That makes me feel great that one person got it. You know, they understood that it's okay. You know, that you don't have to be fearful of it. Yeah, cool. So yeah, shoot me a message. Let me know. I'll get you over your fears, and I'll try to explain it as simplistic as possible. Some of it is kind of complex, especially when it comes to wiring, because you're dealing with volts and amps and ohms and relays and RF and all this other stuff. So I'll try and explain it and keep it very simple. Again, we're not going to Mars. We're just trying to get a really cool car to go down the road, or we're trying to get a really kick-ass car out on track. So that's what we're doing. It's not rocket surgery, and I definitely don't want to make it rocket surgery for you guys. If you want to get into the more complex stuff, we definitely can, but we'll save that for, you know, later after everything runs and drives and we've all had adult beverages and relaxed at the beach for a day. Then we can get into the complex stuff and get into electric steering, CAN bus systems, all that stuff. So we'll do that later on down the line. Let's just get me out of stuff and you know, big block Chevy and Viper stuff out of the way. I got to get the Viper out this weekend, right? All right, we'll take the Viper out this weekend. I think that's a good idea. So yeah, let me know if there's something you guys want to see. I'm happy to put it out there. And again, I apologize for the technical problems earlier. I'll get those deleted so everything's on here. And then tomorrow we'll come back. I'll get you an update on fixing this guy and fixing the mount for this guy and the new relay for replacing that relay in the or the fuse holder in the trunk. And with any good fortune, I can also get the PDC, everything mounted up and maybe wired up. We'll see how it goes. So good news, all good news and all fun stuff. Thank you guys very much for hanging out tonight and being patient with all the tech stuff. I know it's a pain in the ass. I promise I'll get smoother at it. I will try. I do everything on my end. Now it's up to those guys' ends, and they can let go of that rope at any time, right? So thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. Don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will catch you tomorrow. All right. Have a great night. All right.